So I did a 2 months challenge on my natural hair. Let's talk all about it.
No one ever makes me feel the way.
So I'm going to be very detailed in this video. We're going to be talking about the reason for the challenge, picking a hairstyle, hair prep, wash day, treatment, the takedown process, and my general take on this whole challenge. What were my results? Did it work? Should I tell you guys to do this? Just grab your pen, your paper. This is going to be the most detailed video ever. So yeah, on to the first step. The reason for the challenge. This is one thing that I've thought long and hard about. Why do I want to do this challenge? What is my goal? And the one thing that comes to my mind every single time is length retention. As someone that has struggled with having like stagnant growth and their hair not getting past a certain length, to seeing a lot of growth, but at the same time it's slow growth and it can be really frustrating. I've been wanting to try out new things. I'm one that is open to new things, and seeing this challenge on someone that I constantly watch their channel and seeing not just the challenge but results pulled me into trying this out to see if it works. And also, one thing I would say is that putting your hair in a protective style reduces manipulation, and technically if you reduce the manipulation on your hair, you can retain more length. It's not really rocket science. I've noticed that if you do certain treatments to your hair, yes, they benefit your hair, but the one thing that I've not hacked is my protective styling, and I really wanted to know how to change that and see if it works well, and also to give alternative solutions. Like I've always, my channel is all about growing your hair, giving you tips on how to take care of natural hair and all of that. So trying this challenge was one thing I wanted to see through, and I'm also going to continue to do this, and that's main reason for this challenge, just seeing if it works and finding alternative solutions, because I know it can be really frustrating in trying to take care of your hair and not seeing the results that you want. So that's one thing I wanted to try for sure, and to just know that taking care of your hair can also benefit in like results, and not just you doing endless things and not seeing a result. So that's like the main reason for this challenge, length retention and finding alternative solutions for us. Yeah. The next step is picking a hairstyle. This is like can be very very tricky, because if you do this part wrong, you literally set yourself up for failure technically. So I'm going to tell you like the tricks I use and knowing what hairstyle to pick for this particular challenge. I'm not going to lie about this, but the first thing I thought about was my type of hair. So I found out I have fine hair strands. So this is something that you should really look into. You need to know what type of hair strands you have. If you have a finer hair strands or you have like a thicker hair, this can really play a major role in picking the hairstyle you want to use for this challenge. So in doing your research, one thing I'll tell you to look out for is to find someone that has a similar hair type or hair strand with you that talks about it, so you can know if it works well with your hair. And also I would suggest, before doing this challenge, try out that hairstyle. It can be for like a couple of weeks, it can be for like a month, not the whole 3 months, so that you won't set yourself up for failure. Try this hairstyle out first. The hairstyle I went with was flat twist, and before then I did flat twist on my hair, but I did like a different type of version of it, which I loved, and I said, okay, if it worked well with my hair, let me try it again with this particular version, which is not so much loved it, but it was okay. So I would suggest you trying out this hairstyle first and knowing what type of hair strands you have. Do research. You would know your hair by now. You'll know what works for your hair. And also try something new. Don't be afraid to try something new. Like I mentioned, try out this hairstyle first to know what hairstyle works for you. If that is cornrows, if that is flat twist, if that is single braids or single twist, whatever works for you. oh, for me, I went for this particular hairstyle for the challenge, but I'm not really going to do this hairstyle anymore. I'm going to do alternative hairstyles because I'm open to trying new things, but new things that work for my hair. And one thing I knew that I was never going to use in this challenge was using extensions on my hair. Like I mentioned, I have fine hair strands, so my hair doesn't really work well with extensions, and I've learned to accept that. Like I'm not so conscious about putting extensions or attachments on my hair. I've not been one that loves that braids and all of that. So I've always been finding alternative hairstyles. I currently have a new alternative hairstyle which I'm going to release after this video. So don't be afraid to try some things new, and also doing your research on the hairstyle is like, this is the most important part. Forget about every other thing. The hairstyle is the most important part. Know what type of hair you have. Pick or try out the hairstyle first off before trying this challenge. And also don't be afraid to try something new. And if you want extensions, I'm not like, you can go with the extension, whatever works for your hair. But for me, doing this challenge, if I want to put extensions on my hair, I'm never going to leave it for a long period of time because I don't think my hair can handle that. So I'm all for no extensions. Try what works for you, but just know that picking your hairstyle is super, super, super important. I can't emphasize on this. I don't know what else to say, but picking your hairstyle is so important. The next thing is hair prep. Hair prep is one thing that is also important. Like every stage in this process is important and they work hand in hand. So you know how you're making a building and your foundation has to be strong enough for that building to stand. It's the same thing with hair prep. Hair prep is like the foundation for this protective hairstyle. You need to make sure that you prep your hair well, down to your washing, your detangling, your deep conditioning, your treatment. Like every single time that I'm putting my hair in a long-term protective hairstyle, I do my everything wash day routine, and what that includes is basically me doing a clarifying wash, doing a protein treatment, doing my deep conditioning, doing my moisture routine, go in with treatment. Maybe I can do like a cloves or fenugreek water rinse depending on what treatment I'm doing at the moment. But one thing for sure is that I would do a protein treatment, I would do a clarifying wash, and I would deep condition. That's like my one thing for my hair prep that I always do. And also there are techniques and products to this hair prep thing. One thing I would say for sure is that your technique is so important. Like for instance, in finger detangling, I do not use detangling brushes anymore because technically they pull on your hair and they break your hair. So I know that using your fingers are a lot better to knowing where the knots are and everything. Like we're trying to grow our hair, so we don't need to use things that would break our hair. So one thing I would say is that your hair prep is so important. The importance of hair preps, like I mentioned, is the foundation of your whole challenge. So you need to make sure your foundation is good because you can't put your hairstyle, a long-term hairstyle, on a hair that it's not ready to accept that hairstyle. It's going to break. Like when you're doing it, your hair is going to break. Your hair is not moisturized, your hair is not deep conditioned, your hair doesn't feel good. It's not going to work. So just make sure that your hair prep is done correctly. I have a video, I have videos on this on my challenge. Like before I put any hairstyle in, I always film my hair prep, so it's something you can go and watch in detail. But one thing I would say for sure, your hair prep is so important. Your technique, your products, they play major role. And finger detangling is like chef's kiss. So that's one thing I would say for sure. Your hair prep is important. So we're finally on our wash day routine. My wash day routine is something that I do not play with. I keep things simple, but at the same time, I do not skip my wash day routine, guys. Don't skip your wash day routine. That whole myth of dirty hair grows, it's a lie. wash your hair because you're going to limit your hair growth in this challenge, because build-ups are a real thing, clogged pores are real things, and they limit your hair growth. So wash your hair, and I will recommend you washing your hair twice every week. I just keep things simple. There's nothing really fancy about my wash day routine because we're doing a challenge and there's nothing much you can really do than to wash your hair. I use you can use whatever shampoo you want, whether that's clarifying shampoo or a moisturizing shampoo. Also just doing a moisturizing shampoo in between the month, then at the end of the month, like your last wash for that month, you go in with a clarifying shampoo just to make sure your hair is clean and like you just start off fresh for that new month. My routine doesn't look different every single month. I basically do the same thing. Like I mentioned, I keep things simple with this. I just need to focus on my scalp and my ends. Like that's the reason why I wash my hair, to avoid build-ups and to also take care of my ends, because they're the oldest parts of your hair, and if you lose them, you're not going to see growth. Like that's one thing you should know. If your ends are cutting off or they're breaking off, or you're constantly having dry ends which can cause split ends, your hair isn't going to, you're not going to retain length. So that's why like taking care of your hair and washing your hair is important. Hair care is important when you're doing this challenge. Don't just put that protective hairstyle and pray that your hair grows. Like when you take down that hair, your hair is going to be falling off. Yeah, it's going to be falling off. So take care of your hair. Excessive shedding is a real thing, breakage is a real thing. So take care of your hair in that protective hairstyle. Your hair care routine is so important. That's all for my wash day. I didn't really do anything, like mentioned, I kept things simple. You're going to see the products that I used, and I also have individual videos on these things. Like everything I'm mentioning is just a whole compiled video in one, just to share like the whole challenge, so that I can just have like the whole experience in one videos. But I have individual videos on this. I'm going to also put that up so that I can just watch that. But in general, keeping things simple, focusing on your scalp and your ends to avoid build-ups, and washing your hair twice in a month. That's like my recommendation. It's not something taxing. It's not every day you're washing your hair, so twice. Don't wash your hair every day, guys. Don't do that. Don't do that. Twice a month is my recommended time to doing your wash day routine. Hair treatment is one thing I did not overlook when doing my challenge, because treatments, I've always spoken about treatments on my channel and how they play a major role in like strengthening your hair, growing your hair, herbs, all of that good stuff. So I did not overlook that. My challenge is something that I constantly added to my routine. And one thing I will mention is deep conditioning. Deep conditioning is basically the added moisture to your hair, and if you have high porosity hair like me, and you will face a lot of your hair drying out like in between your wash days. So one thing I would say is that having a routine is important, but also doing what your hair needs at that particular time is also important. Like for instance, my hair dries out like in between the week, depending on what I did at that particular week, or whatever season we are. If we're in the dry season, your hair dries out a lot faster, and it's just something that happens. And maybe you didn't wear your bonnet, you didn't wear your scarf, and your hair just dried out a little bit faster than usual. It's something that happens, but also taking action when this type of things happen is also important. So I always do a moisture routine when my hair is dry, and that is very simple. It just consists of me using my conditioner, and also deep conditioning with my conditioner to get my hair like a little bit more moisturized. Then going in with my oils, I use my herbal oil, which consists of fenugreek, chipe powder, moringa powder, rosemary. Those are herbs that really play a major role in strengthening your hair and growing your hair. And I also use shea butter on my ends, because I do not use this on my scalp because it's a very thick butter and it can clog up your like I mentioned, build-ups are real things. So I use the shea butter on my ends because it's a very thick butter, but it's also moisturizing, so it keeps my ends moisturized, which helps in preventing split ends. Because if your hair is dry, that's how you get like split ends. So like going in with a moisture routine is important. Is a type of treatment also, like deep conditioning. Another treatment that I will also mention is rosemary and cloves. This is something I recently started using, and it has really helped my hair. I do not do this often, but when I do it, I do it. It's not something I do regularly. So that's another treatment you can try. And protein treatment. Protein treatment, I'm in between like doing protein treatment because it's something like doing having too much protein treatment on your hair. So during this challenge, I did not do protein treatment. If you want to do it, I suggest you be very careful because it's something like doing protein treatment overdoing it. So I do protein treatment when I'm putting in a long-term protective hairstyle or when I'm coming out of a long-term protective hairstyle. It's just something that you should be careful about so that you do not overdo it. Like I mentioned, keeping things simple is also very important. So I also do scalp massages. Scalp massage is another type of treatment that is very, very important. I recently dropped a video on like a product that helps you in your scalp massaging and something that can make scalp massaging a lot easier for you. Or have my link for you to shop in my description box because you can also do your research also. But it's one product that I recently did a video on, and yeah, it's a very good product. So with treatment, there are a lot of treatments you can do, but one thing you should know is that keeping things simple is also very important in this challenge. I'm sure you've heard it enough in this video, but that's one thing I'll constantly say. Like I mentioned, I use oils on my hair which contain a lot of herbs that also play major roles in my hair growth and in keeping my hair strong, healthy, and all of that. Doing my deep conditioning when my hair is dry, using rosemary and clove grains on my hair, and also doing a protein treatment if that is what you need. But that is something I did not do in this challenge. I did it when I was coming out of the challenge and when I was entering a new challenge. So treatments are also important in this challenge and is one thing you should not overlook when doing this. So finally, we're on takedown. So this is the last stage in this whole challenge, which is the second most important stage for me because you've done everything you could during this challenge. You've gotten your new growth. Your hair looks, you can see your new growth and you want it to show on your length. So you have to be careful when doing this process because your hair is going to break if you do it wrongly. So I'm going to show you how I make this process very easy because I did like chunky flat twists, so it wouldn't take as much time as taking down like smaller braids or twists or smaller hairstyles. That's the plus of doing this particular style. But also, since my hair is like chunky and big, that means I have like slightly more matted hair and like tangles towards the end of my hair mostly. So the first thing I'm going to do is to saturate my hair with water. So one thing I would say is that your hair shouldn't be like very oversaturated. It should be damp. You don't want your hair to be so much, we don't want so much water on your hair. So after doing this process, I'm going to go in with my conditioner, and I do not apply my conditioner everywhere on my hair. I'm focused more on my new growth, so we apply it directly to my scalp. So you can see I'm putting it like on the patterns and so that I can get to my scalp easily, because that's where you have the new growth and the matted hair and the tangles. So you want that to be like moisturized and soft, so when you're taking it down it doesn't get tangled up, it doesn't snap, and it doesn't break off. So after doing this method, I go in with my steam cap just to make it like penetrate on my hair shafts better, like my hair shafts better. So after doing this, you notice that your hair is a lot more like soft and your hair is easy to take down. So when I'm doing my takedown process, I don't use any comb, I don't use a detangling brush, I do not use any form of tools apart from my steam cap and my products mainly. So I like working with my fingers when I'm doing this process because you can feel the knots, you can feel the tangles on your hair better, and you can easily take it down like when you use your fingers. That's why I said finger detangling earlier in my video is like the best detangler you have. So yeah, your fingers are the best detangling tool you can use to detangle your hair. So it's not a very, very complicated process, but it's also a very important process because if you do this wrong, you are going to break your hair and you won't see the length, like all the process, all the work you've put into this challenge. You can go literally left if you don't do this process right. So one thing I'll say is to calm down, don't be in a hurry, take your time. If it's to watch a movie, if it's to put on music, if it's to be talking to friends, talking to family, just make this process easier. So now we're finally getting towards the end of this video, and I'm going to give my general take on this whole challenge. So the first thing I would say for sure is the hairstyle that I picked. I like doing flat twist on my hair, but I realized that doing flat twist from the beginning of my hair to the end of my hair, it's a little bit too much manipulation on my hair. Particularly, I found it a lot difficult to put my hair in that twist. Maybe if I did it in like a smaller version, like smaller version of flat twist, but in two steps, not like a full all back type of look, I feel like it would have worked better for my hair. But if I'm doing this challenge again, I wouldn't do flat twist because I found that my hair got tangled a lot towards like the down area, like the down part of my hair, because I don't like when my hair is tight around that area. It gives me bumps, so I made it loose. But over time, carrying it for 2 months, doing your wash day, doing your routine, it got like matted up and I had a lot of frizziness. And number two, the reason why I won't do this particular hairstyle for this challenge is that I didn't have a lot to do with the hair. Mostly after doing my second wash day, I couldn't take this hair out on its own. I had to wear wigs, I had to start wearing scarves, and over time I got tired of it. So I found another alternative to doing this challenge, which I'm going to put in my other video and talk about more in my other video. But I found a very, very good hairstyle where you can rock for a longer period, for a month. You don't have to start wearing scarves or wigs, and that's one thing that's important for me because I really do not want to be limited to that when I'm doing this type of challenge. So the other thing I'm going to talk about is your hair care. When you're doing your hair care in this, there might be a little bit of frizziness when you're doing this hairstyle. That's like one thing about this hairstyle, you get frizzy, and over time when you start doing like your routine on your hair, you notice that your hair will get rough faster. And I'm trying to find a way that I can do my routine but try to reduce the frizz. I'm still working on that. If you can recommend products that help with frizzy hair and everything, that will be really helpful in the comment section. And also doing like this challenge, one thing I would say is that it definitely works because I saw a lot of growth in just doing 2 months. I wanted this challenge to be 3 months. That was like the goal, but because of how the hair got frizzy, it got old, it got like I couldn't stand wearing wigs or scarves anymore. Take on this challenge, the only thing I would have done differently is in picking my hairstyle. That's one thing that I did differently because I just started a new challenge and I've seen a lot of people joining in on this challenge, which is I'm so happy about that, because the reason why I'm doing this is for us to help ourselves to grow our hair, finding alternative ways to taking care of natural hair and also getting our desired hair length or hair goal. That's one thing I'm really happy about, and I'm happy that people are joining in on the challenge. And it's never too late to join in. If you're joining in now, you're welcome to the challenge. We give updates here. I always give updates on my community tab, so you can subscribe so that you can get updated every time I drop a video or drop any updates on my community tab. And yeah, let me know in the comment section if you're starting out your challenge or you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.